Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. The human form of body is meant for understanding the self and the Supreme Self, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, both of whom are transcendently situated. If both of them can be understood when one is purified by advanced knowledge, for what reason and for whom does a foolish, greedy person maintains the body for sense gratification? Purport. Of course, everyone in this material world is interested in maintaining the body for sense gratification. But by cultivating knowledge, one should gradually understand that the body is not the self. Both the soul and the super soul are transcendental to the material world. This is to be understood in the human form of life, especially when one takes sannyas. A sannyasi, one who has understood the self, should be engaged in elevating the self and associating with the super soul, super self. Our Krishna consciousness movement is meant for elevating the living being for promotion back home, back to Godhead. Seeking such elevation is one's duty in the human form of life. Unless one performs this duty, why should one maintain the body? Especially if a sannyasi not only maintains the body by ordinary means, but does everything to maintain the body, including even eating meat and other abominable things. He must be a lampatah, a greedy person simply engaged in sense gratification. A sannyasi must specifically remove himself from the urge of tongue, belly and genitals, which disturb one as long as one is not fully aware that the body is separate from the soul. आत्मानं चेद बीजानियात परम ज्ञान धुताशयः किमीक्षण कस्य वा हेतोर देहम पुष्णाति लंपटः. This verse is from 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto. Also this is final last chapter of 7th canto. And here Devarshi Narad personally giving instruction to Yudhishthir Maharaj. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, description in the form of very celebrated conversation which took place between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Devarshi Narad. When Maharaj Yudhishthir was performing Rajsuya Yajna, a very celebrated sacrifice Yudhishthir Maharaj was performing, and any of the performance of Yajna, one aspect that the performers hears scriptures from, especially from very bona fide and elevated personality. So here, personally, Naradji was present there in Hastinapur, in Rajsuya Yajna, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was listening. So, instructions for the civilized human beings. So here, before this verse, Devarshi Narad has talked about if a grihastha gives up his prescribed duty, is not performing his prescribed duty, and is brahmachari, he is not following his vow, of celibacy and other different type of brata, and a tapasvi, vanaprastha, if he is living in the village, not in forest, not living forest, instead of forest, living in the village, city. So this is a very abominable thing. It's a very bad thing. And finally, bhiksho sannyasi, who maintains his body by begging alms, by madhukari, if he is indriya low loop, he have like a type of very much interested for sense gratification. So, if a sannyasi or he has addiction for sense gratification, then it is considered the most abominable thing, very bad thing. Bhikshu indriya lolupata. Bhikshuk means one who maintains himself by begging alms. And if he is addicted for sense gratification, then it is a very, very bad thing. Naradji talks about if someone is, especially talks about sannyasi, if he has addiction for sense gratification, then whole this show becomes a drama. Vidambanam. Vidambanam means sometimes in the play, in the drama, different people take different parts. So some becomes king, some becomes queen, or different role there. So this is not a very serious thing. If a sannyasi, he himself is addicted, has addiction for the sense gratification, then simply has put a dress like someone puts a dress in drama. And Devarsina Arastaka, that person immediately he should be rejected. Or if not rejected, not ignored, if you can do that, then you must bestow your mercy and give him instruction that he should not do that. First, he should be rejected at all. If a sannyasi, he have taken a vow of sannyas and same time he has addiction for sense gratification, then it is like drama. And if anyone has taken part, role of sannyasi in the drama, he is not very much serious. He should not give him respect. Maybe on the stage, but as soon as he comes out of a stage, then he is not worshipable personality anymore. So here, a specialist talks about Atmanam Ched Bijaniyat. The human form of life is meant for self-realization. Yeah. Of course, everyone in this material world, by cultivation of Krishna consciousness, we should understand the self, Atma, and same time Paramatma. So, usually in Vedic literature, very repeatedly, it is stated that human form of life is very much important, and this is meant for sense realization, self-realization, not for sense gratification. In Vedic literature, it described as, so far as sense gratification is concerned, it is available everywhere. In any species of life, sense gratification is available. So if we have avoided this human form of life, then again Naradji, while he was instructing Vedavyas Dev in first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, said, Tasyaiva hetuh praeteta kovido. First he talks about devotional self-realization, and the human form of life should be utilized for the cultivation of devotional service. Tasyaiva hetuh praeteta kovido nalabhyate yad bhramtam uparyadha. The devotional service or cultivation of knowledge, it is not possible. It is not available in other species of life. It is only available and possible in the human form of life. So far as sense gratification or delight for material existence, material world is concerned, this is available everywhere. Tallabhyate dukhavat anyatah sukham. Devarsi Narad talks about we don't make any effort. We don't try to get distress, but this distress comes in our direction according to our karma, according to our previous fruitive activity we have performed. Similarly, if we will not do anything for our happiness, material delight, it will come automatically in our direction if we have done pious activity in our previous life. So for it will come. For suffering, we don't make any effort. It comes automatically in our direction. The same way, happiness or pleasure or opportunity for sense gratification, it will come in our direction. So for that reason, for that purpose, we should not make any effort. If someone is trying to get happiness, material happiness, sense gratification, then it is simply wastage of time and energy. So this human form of life is meant for self-realization. Nayam deho deh bhajam nirloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujame tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhet yasmat brahma saukhyam tanantam. When Lord Rishabhdev, he was instructing his 100 sons, they are sitting in front of him and he was giving transcendental enlightenment, knowledge. Then he also talks about the purpose, ultimate goal of human form of life. Nayam deho deh bhajam nirloke. The human form of life should not be wasted for sense gratification. Kaman arhate. It is very difficult. First of all, it is very difficult to get the sense gratification. It is a troublesome business to be happy, get sense gratification. And he said, it is available even vidbhujam. Vidbhujam means one who, the living being who eats stool, pig. They very much instead eat the stool. So that even the pig has, he can get happiness, delight, material delight. If some living entity goes in the body of a pig, the happiness, delight or sense gratification is available there also. But devotional service or knowledge, self-realization, opportunity for self-realization is not available, it is not possible in that lower species of life. So then Rishabh talk tapo divyam. The human form of life is meant for tapasya, tap, austerity. And it was tapo divyam, divya, transcendental tap, austerity. By performing austerity, divya, transcendental tapasya, transcendental austerity, our heart would be completely cleansed. Our heart would be completely purified, and once our sattva, our heart is purified, then in the purified mind, in the purified heart, the Lord would reveal Suddhet Yasmat Brahmi Saukhyam Tanantan. And once our heart is purified, becomes completely free from any contamination, then we get Saukhyam, happiness. And what type of happiness? Brahma Saukhyam. Transcendental happiness, transcendental bliss, and that is Anantam. Unlimited transcendental bliss we can experience by tapasya, once we perform Divya Tapasya, then our heart is completely purified. And once our heart is completely purified, we can experience, we can derive transcendental, unlimited bliss. Tapo Brahma Saukhyam Tanantam. So for that end, we need to understand here in Devarsinar talks about Param. Param means here translated as Atma as well as Paramatma, soul as well as super soul. Both we have to know. Atmanam ched vijnanayat param jnana dhutashaya. By cultivation of knowledge, jnana dhut ashaya, by cultivation of knowledge, our heart, our existence would be purified. Jnana dhut, washed by, cleansed by jnana. Cultivation of jnana, then existence keep on purified. So, in this verse, Devarsi Naradji talks, Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport that the human form of life is meant for self-realization and not for sense gratification. And we must understand, and about especially, this is duty for every human being, but especially in this verse talks about a sannyasi, or a person who claims himself to be a transcendentalist, who have taken the path of self-realization, either he is grihastha, vanaprastha, brahmachari or sannyasi, anyone. But especially in these topics, in these verses, talks about sannyasi. Indriye lolupata. This is word, very bad word for a sannyasi. You say he is and lampat. Lampat in Sikshastakam, this word appear lampat. How this? Lampat. Lampat means debauchee. This is word debauchee. This is about Krishna. There is transcendental sense. Was saying some sannyasi there, you are debauchee. It's a very strong word. Naraji speak. Lampat. He is a lampat. Asli seva pad ratam pinastumam adarsanan marm hatam karotuga yatha tathava vidadhatu lampatah. You are lampat. Srimati Radha says for Krishna, lampat, debauchee. Unlawfully addiction for sense gratification. So, in this verse, last word, lampat, see, last one, lampat. If someone is not interested for, especially sannyasi, has not purified his existence by cultivation of knowledge, by cultivation of devotional service, and he is maintaining his body. For what reason? Kim action, for what is the use of this body maintaining? If you are not interested for self-realization, if you are not cultivating Krishna consciousness, you are not cultivating bhakti, then there is what use of maintaining this body? Kasya kim action kasyava heto. It is useless to maintain. Pushnati lampata, maintaining the body. So, this human form of life is meant for self-realization. And here talks about what is self-realization. That we understand the constitutional position of Atma as well as Paramatma. Atmanam. In Vedic literature it is described that, here purport starts that body is meant for understanding the self and the super self, Paramatma, Atma and Paramatma. In Vedic literature and in Upanishad, this body is compared with a tree, and one branch of the tree, on the top of the one branch of the tree, two birds are seated. Dva suparna sajuja sakhayam saman vrikshe susum sujata. on the branch on the heart, in the heart, which is considered to be the one of the branch of the whole body existence, Dvasuparna, two birds are seated. Dvasuparna Shajura Shakhaya Samana Brikshi Susnu Sujate. In same one branch of the tree, the two birds are seated, and they are very much, they have friendship, intimate friendship with each other. They are friends sitting. So Atma is there, and same time Paramatma is there also. Self, soul and super self. Both are seated. Tayo Rasve, what is difference? That this body produces some certain type of fruit. There in number many fruits, but two type of fruits takes place in this tree. One is Sukh and one is Dukh. Two type of, there are many, now in number there are many, Sukh and Dukh. So Sukh means happiness and distress. So very rarely this fruit, this tree bears very one, two in number, where you can count on the finger number of the fruit of Sukh, happiness. And for distress, Dukh, how many there are, you can't count, unlimited. So though this tree produce both type of fruit, sweet and bitter, but sweet very limited, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for bitter fruit, unlimited, you can't count. And difference between the two birds, one bird, which is Atma, our soul, is very much attached for the body and same time very attached for the fruit. And he is forced to eat the fruit. But other, he eats the fruit. Distress and happiness, both type of. But another bird sitting, which is super soul, Paramatma, he is indifferent. He doesn't eat. So we are suffering and enjoying. Suffering is there, distress is there. And some we derive sometimes a so-called happiness even, so that only soul or Atma experience, whereas Paramatma is completely indifferent. So as soon as the another bird, means Atma, he takes shelter of his friend, Paramatma, super soul, immediately he becomes free from all distress and he becomes very much liberated. So for that reason, a living entity, he should understand the constitutional position of himself, which is Atma, and same time he should understand constitutional position or position of the Paramatma, and also he should understand what is the relationship between Atma and Paramatma, one word and another word, and how the Atma, soul can satisfy the super soul, Paramatma. As soon as he understands the position of Paramatma and he understands himself, means he understands the difference between material body and spirit, soul, immediately he becomes free from all sort of distress. One of the final instruction of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna talks about Ishvara Sarvbhutanam Hirdeshe Arjun Tishtati, Ishwar, the controller, Paramatma, he is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara Sarvbhutanam Hirdeshe Arjun Tishtati, Brahmayan Sarvbhutani Yantra Rudhani Maya. And then next verse talks about Tameva Sharanam Gach Sarvbhavena Bharata. Krishna talks Arjuna, Bharat, O descendants of Bharat, Arjun, you utterly simply take shelter of Paramatma. Tameva Sharanam Gach Sarvbhavena. In all regard, simply you take shelter of Paramatma, and once you take shelter of Paramatma, then Tat Prasadat, by his mercy, Tat, by the mercy of Super Soul, Ishwar, Paramatma, Tat Prasadat, Param Santim, you will get unlimited transcendental bliss simply by taking shelter of Paramatma. Tat Prasadat, Param Santim. transcendental, unlimited bliss you will get. Transcendental bliss, happiness, ananda you will derive, you will get. Tat prasadat param sandhi sthanam prapati shashvatam. And you will get eternal sthan, eternal situation, abode. You can get the abode of me, Golok Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. So here in his verse talks about the human form of body is meant for understanding the self and super self, which is Supreme Personality of Godhead, both of whom are transcendentally situated. So first of all, this is basic knowledge of Vedic literature, very beginning part of Vedic literature, and so like ABC knowledge, that any spiritualist who wants to pursue substantial spiritual progress, he must know the difference between body and the soul. Body is completely material and soul, Atma, is transcendental. It is not material at all. They are in nature, though the Atma, living entity, he is residing in this material body, but he had nothing to do with his material body. It's absolutely separate thing. So we should not be very much interested to gratify ourselves, gratify our senses, especially the body. There is no need and there is no use of maintaining this body if we are not interested for self-realization. Kim ikshan kashiva hetu deham pushnati lampata. If especially some sannyasi, he doesn't cultivate knowledge and he doesn't cultivate devotional service, and thus he doesn't purify his existence, his heart, then if he is not interested in self-realization, not interested in cultivation of Krishna consciousness, and simply maintaining his body, then he is very bad word it is used. Lampata. He has addiction for sense gratification. Kasya deham pushanat. For what reason? Why he should maintain the body? Srila Prabhupada in this purpose talks about, especially if a sannyasi not only maintains the body by ordinary means, but does everything to maintain the body, including even eating meat and other abominable things, he must be a lampat, a greedy person simply engaged in the sense gratification. So in the assembly, great personality were assembled there in the sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthir, Rajasuya Sabha, and thousands of people were seated. And in front of them, Naradji talks about the duty of all human beings, especially one who claims to be a spiritualist, has taken certain vow, a vow of grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, or brahmachari. And also in previous verse talked about the vanaprastha. If he is living in the village, a vanaprastha is supposed to reside in forest. There is no right to live in the city or village. Should be there in forest. But if a vanaprastha or sannyasi living in the village and city, and while living in the city, he promoting sense gratification, then he is very bad person. As Indriya lo lupa. He said that person should be, immediately he should be rejected. We reject a person if in the drama someone has taken a role of king. He is no king, he is not rich person. Maybe very poor person can dress himself as a king and he play the part. Very nicely he can play the part of the king in the drama. So simply that is simply question of dress, and that person, khalu vidambana, with imitation of that, that person should be rejected. First option, that he should be rejected. He should not be given any sort of respect. But if you can't dare to do that one, Then anukampa. You should do anukampa means mercy, kripa. You should bestow, you should ready to bestow mercy upon him. What type of mercy you can bestow on him? Prabhupada talks about it. You should preach them. Teach them real life. Feel pity on that type of person, the sannyasi, and you should be interested and teach him that he should not be interested for sense gratification. Rather he should utilize his time and energy for self-realization, for bhakti. So this is one, Atmanam Chid Bijaniyat. Human form of life is meant to understand Atma as well as Paramatma. By cultivation of knowledge, by cultivation of devotional service. If that end is not achieved, then there is no need. Kim ikshan kasya, there is no need to maintain this body. There is no use, especially for sannyasi, Vanaprastha, Grihastha or sannyasi. Especially for Vanaprastha and sannyasi. Okay, so I should stop here. Okay, Prabhu.